Hi, this is KFC. I'm going to talk to y'all today about doing folding gear doors and the fixed rod that actually folds the doors and how to calculate the length of that rod and the position of the fixed point. I apologize. I came down with the flu or something the other day and I'm still kind of rocky, so bear with me. This is actually really simple. When you see how simple it is, you'll want to kick yourself like I did. Basically, what you need to do is you need to draw yourself a section view like I've done. This is the section view of the 747 where the door is. This linkage right here represents the arm for the folding door. This point right here is perpendicular to the curve where the two doors separate, and this point is the pivot point for the folding door here. What you need to do first, and you can do this on the CAD or you can do it with tracing paper and a compass, either way. I do this because it's easy for me. You want to rotate the pieces so that you have the door both in the closed position and the open position from the pivot point of the hinges that you're using. Now in my case, the hinges actually pivot point on the outside of the skin. And so that makes it very easy for me. If, on the other hand, you're using an internal hinge, your pivot point might be somewhere around here. You'll have to measure that. This represents the center line of the fuselage in this case, so this is the distance from the center line that the door, for the inner part of the door. When you rotate this, you can actually rotate it to any angle that makes sense for you. The only thing you got to do is make sure that you're leaving enough room for your gear to clear. Also, this can be rotated to any angle that makes sense. Make sure you rotate it at this point, which you set up earlier. Now, this is where it gets really, really easy. What you do is you want to draw a line from one of the holes on the horn to the interior of the fuselage where you think the fixed end of the folding rod is going to be. Now, it doesn't really matter. You want it somewhere on the outside of the pivot point for the inner door, but other than that, it doesn't really matter. It can actually even be inside of the pivot. It really isn't a big deal. So for the purposes of this demonstration, I'm just going to put it right here. That's a guess. Then what you do is you draw a circle from that horn, from the hole in the horn to the point you calculated. All right. You measure the radius. In this case, it's 89.01. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to delete that circle and that line, and I'm going to call it 90 because it makes life easier. All right. This is an approximate measurement. You may have to change it. Okay, so I've got a 90 millimeter radius circle there. Now what you're going to do is you're going to draw another 90 millimeter circle, 90 millimeter radius that is, from the same hole where the door is closed. Where these two circles intersect inside the fuselage is where the hole on the horn for the fixed link needs to go. And I'm going to explain that here by moving this part all right, so, and it doesn't have to be the middle hole on this one. It can be the outer hole. It really doesn't matter. All you're doing is setting up an arc. And let me go ahead and delete the two construction circles there, that arc goes through these 2 points. So that length rod will be in the right position when they're open and they're closed, if that makes sense. So that gives you the length of that push rod. Now, this is how it works in a perfect world of CAD. It may not work exactly that way when you're actually making it in real life, and I'm going to get to that point right now. Okay, so you measured it out on the computer or on paper, and you go to put it together, and it's okay in one position, it's not okay in the other, it's just a little bit off, and you're not quite sure, you fiddle with it and it just doesn't work in one of the 2 positions. It should work in at least one of them. The easiest way to fix this is that the rod, in this case I'm just using a little piece of music wire, it's going to push on the one side, and it's going to push in the one position, it's going to pull in the other. So all you need to do is add a little slop to the system in order to make it work right in both positions. So this is what you're going to do. You're going to put, I got a Dubro Easy connector right here. You're going to put one of these into the fixed horn, the one that's inside the fuselage, not the one that's on the door. Okay? You're going to make sure that this is in the right position inside the fuselage. You're going to place your rod into the connector, and you're going to shut the door. Okay? And when you shut the door, it's going to pull, and when you when you open the door, it's going to push. So when you shut the door, what you want to do is mark, and you can use a Sharpie marker for this. You want to mark on the inside side, because this goes to the inside of the fuselage, and the other way goes outside. Okay? You put a mark here, you open the door, and it might be a little bit over this way. You put a mark here. Okay? For the next step, you're going to need your trusty Z-bend pliers. This is my personal favorite. And a set of regular pliers. Okay? You take your Z-bend pliers and you Z-bend the rod that goes, the mark that you made toward the outside of the fuselage. Alright? Okay, so the mark I made was right here, at this point. You insert your connector, and it doesn't have to be attached to the horn at this point. Probably a lot easier if it's not. Then you find the other mark you made, and you take your regular pliers and you just do a 90-degree bend. So that now this connector can slide back and forth, and that will take care of whatever mismatch is involved in the rod. And on the door end, we've just got a little Z-bend there. And that's all there is to it, guys. I hope this has been helpful, and good luck.